I would like to introduce our first keynote speaker. Lori Bolton is VP of Human Resources here at Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics. She's also an EDC board member. Lori joined Mason General in January 2014. Her background includes over 20 years of progressive human resources and leadership experience with both large and small organizations in healthcare, nonprofit, professional services, and manufacturing environments. Prior to joining Mason General Hospital and Family Clinics, Lori worked in HR leadership roles for large healthcare systems in Washington and Oregon, where she honed her skills of organizational development, employee relations, talent acquisition, and performance management. She earned her bachelor's degree in psychology and business management from Washington College and her MBA from George Fox University. She is professionally certified as a senior professional human resources, Society of Human Resources certified, senior certified professional, and agile performance management. So no further ado, Lori Bolton.
Two-button clicker, the best thing ever. So thank you all for joining us today, and John was still in here, and thank him for the wonderful meal he and his crew have lifted out for us. Framing the conversation for y'all today, Mason General Hospital recently, this year, rolled out a new vision statement. So I thought I would actually use that as a way of kind of forming the talk today, give you an idea of what we're working on now, but also kind of where we're headed in the future. So we have a way to make this a little different than what you're doing. So, new vision statements. You're starting to see this probably around notes on our reader boards, doing it out and about now. United community, empowered people, and exceptional health. So, starting with United community. For us, that is really about relationships. So, here in a community like Shelton, our patients are our employees, they're our family members, our friends, our neighbors. We are them. And so we're taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other. And being really thoughtful with that, our thoughts, our actions, how we behave really has a big impact. And so think about our role in this community as a large employer, as a healthcare system. Certainly our role is to preserve and restore health. But what more should we be in this type of environment as a neighbor, as a partner? The things that we are focusing on really are around participation and engagement in the community. So things like Mason Matters, the County Development Council, we've got a tuberculosis pilot program going on with the Public Health Department. Got involved in supporting the community pool this last year, providing space for the Hope Garden and supporting that. And then more recently, the Graduation Matters, excited about that work. We're going to be helping with the Health and Sciences Academy, which is really fun way to get involved. On the empowered people side, so in this reference, we're looking really not just at empowered employees, but really empowered individuals in the community, our patients, and our community members. So for employees, that looks like folks who are really engaged in learning, who are self-aware and confident, who really understand what their role is and how they're impacting their community and the organization. That sense of ownership and pride, but really the leveraging the passion and the compassion that all of our folks bring to their work every day. On the patients and community side, that's about making sure that folks are really armed with the information that they need to feel informed, to be knowledgeable about what's going on in their healthcare, to feel safe and supported and cared for, certainly when they're engaging with the hospital and clinics, to be confident, comfortable asking questions, to really, again, feel like they're a participant, that they're empowered and taking care of their health. Kind of helping everybody achieve their own personal best level of health. It might look different from one person. And so how we're doing this, so kind of how I can just apply here in the organization, is really working on building positive and supportive relationships So listening to understand and really kind of engaging folks. So we do that through employee satisfaction surveys, but also through patient satisfaction surveys, informal feedback, the information that you all share with us when you've been in the hospital, had interactions with the hospital. It's all very helpful to make sure that we're addressing the needs and responding to the concerning questions. We're also investing in folks, so we do a lot with staff training and development, ongoing education. We offer robust tuition programs for our staff to encourage them to continue to develop in their careers and pursue leadership development with our leadership folks. And we offer student residency programs, job shadows, and the partnership with Health and Sciences Academy. We're excited about how that will expand what we're able to do both within the hospital, and our staff is super excited about this, but also out in the community, so getting folks who are involved in our community. We provide a number of community education and resource opportunities. So we have a very active diabetes wellness, diabetes prevention and wellness program. We offer health screenings at community events. We will be at Allen Days here coming up soon. And of course we offer newsletters. Hopefully you're all familiar with Scope that comes out quarterly. And new website, if you haven't seen it yet, I would encourage y'all to visit masongeneral.com. Our new upgraded website is fabulous. Got some interactive tools on there, information about providers, the services that are available at the hospital, and very exciting online bill pay. And then the other thing we do to develop folks or to empower folks is really work in developing programs and tools that support people in being involved and engaged in their health and empowering them in that. So internally right now we're working on really learning and deploying lean management tools. And so process improvement, things we can do to improve the flow within the organization. And then kind of on the more external facing care coordination services, so helping our patients navigate the healthcare world, if you will, and helping them be empowered in working through whatever issues they have and providing support for that. And then the third component of the vision really is about exceptional health. And so kind of what that means to us is achieving community and individual health goals. So it's kind of, again, connecting back to the united community and also to the empowered community. Delivering the highest quality care, of course. We really want to be recognized for quality value and feel you have trust from the community and support from the community. And then another key component of that really is offering sufficient and timely access to care. And so things we're doing in this realm to really focus on that, really it's about living our mission to the fullest extent every day. And so that is supporting individual and community health. We offer a patient portal so folks have quick access to information that they might need about their health care and their care plans. Again, care coordination services to help folks navigate the healthcare realm. Programs and events, which I've already mentioned. We have a new program for anticoagulation, so clinic care in the hospital, it reduces the burden of folks who are having to monitor their blood sugar levels. Makes that much easier. Providing quality care, this is a fun one. So lots of grades. So these are 2015, 2016 recognitions. So organization, Mason General Hospital Family Clinics, been recognized by Washington State Hospital Association for Safe Care in Action and Top Performer Award. We have been recognized, I gotta read the name of this one because I can never remember what this stands for. The National Organization for State Offices of Rural Health. For their overall, so that's their overall excellence in quality award. And that it really reflects Mason General as being in the top rankings among all acute care hospitals in the nation. So that's really good. Also recognized in February as a Joint Commission certified as an acute stroke ready hospital. And we are one of the first in the nation to be designated as such. So again, another really cool great hospital. And that's really about being able to, being recognized for being equipped to treat stroke patients timely evidence-based care to make sure that they have the best possible outcomes. It's pretty cool stuff. Our Olympic Physicians Clinic has been recognized as level 3 patient-centered medical home. that's about really having the tools in place to be focused on evidence-based quality patient-centered care. Our MRI and CT programs are designated by the American College of Radiology for, remember the acronym, designated for achieving gold standard in quality and safety of patient care. And really exciting, our Diabetes Wellness Director, Sue Barwick, was just recently named as the 2016 Diabetes Educator of the Year. So very, very pursued. And our IPA, which is not our beer, it took me a few months to figure that out when I first got here, is our in-person assister, Susanna Lopez, and she's been named as the top regional navigator by Washington Health Plan Finder, and that's for the number of community members that she's been able to sign up for health insurance and get them taken care of through that system. Again, another area where you need maybe some help with navigation, and she's been able to do a lot of that. And achieved the most wired designation 8 consecutive years, so that's pretty cool. And we just recently achieved the HIMSS Stage 6, and this is stage 7, although they call it Stage 6 because it goes from 0 to 7, so it's 8 steps that you move through, and it has to do with how well implemented our electronic medical record is and how well we're using it integrated. So we're like way up at the top of that. And then finally on exceptional health, a big deal for us is increasing access to healthcare. And so some things that we have done relative to that and that we continue to work on. Walking Clinic just celebrated its first anniversary, so it's up and going strong. The anticoagulation clinic, coming up on year 2, so that is moving forward nicely. We have added licensed independent clinical social workers in our clinics, and also virtual visits in both of those to support mental health needs. And we just in May launched a virtual care clinic for our employees. We're piloting that particular program. We'll continue to study that and maybe able to roll that out to the public. So we're kind of just evaluating that right now, getting some learning around how that works. So we're excited about that. And of course, provider recruitment. So we continue to work on that and make sure that we have enough providers available, but also the very best providers for our community. And also very exciting, we're starting to work on master facilities planning for the future. So, thinking about what are we going to need in years forward with regard to facilities, and what kind of growth there might be and needs. So that's it for me. Unless y'all have specific questions, I can address. Thank you so much.
Wow, I'm really impressed. I have to tell you how proud I am to have such a phenomenal hospital and family health clinics in our county. And as we're doing business recruitment, I got to tell you, this is one of the things that we really highlight that we have here. When a business is looking to move into a community, they look at things such as their hospitals and their school districts and that. So. And I'm really proud to have Lori on our board of directors. She's a great asset to our board. So help me thank her one more time. So next up we have public PUD number 3, Joel Meyer. Joel, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read your bio. Joel also is on my board of directors and another really great asset to my board. Joel's the Public Information and Government Relations Manager at Mason County PUD number 3. He's worked there since 2002. He edits a widely distributed daily news digest of utility-related news that is focused on Pacific Northwest energy issues. Prior to his current employment with the PUD, he worked for 9 years at the city of Shelton as a special projects coordinator. In 1992, Joel served a 3-month term as an appointed Mason County Commissioner. As far as it is known, he still holds the record for the shortest term for a county in Washington State. From 1991 through 1992, Joel worked with Washington State University on a groundbreaking study of the special forest product industry and its economic value to the Pacific Northwest. From 1980 to 1991, he was news director at KMAS Radio in Shelton. Joel was a graduate of the Evergreen State College, where his focus of study was economics. He owns 19 ukuleles and actually plays them, but he claims it is not an obsession.
Do you have a fair place for that obsession?
Got you covered, Joel.
Actually, it's a three-letter acronym, ukulele acquisition syndrome. And it's well known by those who play them. Well, thank you for having me here. It's great to be seeing that you're using our fine products today at the hospital. And so forth. Mason Community 3 is one of over 20 public utilities in Washington State, and Washington State is well known for its public utilities in taking on resources to give their customers in rural areas what they want. So much so we were considered the Soviet of Washington in the 1940s and 30s, and were actually called that by the Roosevelt administration because of what we did. But we have 33,000 customers. That makes us about the 97th or 98th largest public power community in the United States. We have two public utility districts, PV1, which is, let's see if I can get this perspective correctly. Y'all know the canal, right? Mono, Walker Mountain, and that's PV1. And PV3 is everything else. So public power utilities in the Pacific Northwest, and PV in particular, as long as I keep pushing on this thing, it's going to get me here. This is the service territory of PV1. So if you take a look at where our electricity comes from, 97% of our electricity comes from non-carbon emitting resources. I want you to keep that in mind as we go forward, because there's a certain portion that is a threat to the utility and some of our finances because of this little bit right here, this 3% of coal and natural gas. So 87% of our electricity comes from hydropower, and then about 10% comes from nuclear. So this is what PV3 looks like. This is what the nation's power supply looks like. 2/3 of the electricity in the rest of the country comes from fossil fuel sources. So the Pacific Northwest is well positioned in the clean power future to meet pretty much everything that the feds want us to do, and hopefully what the state wants us to do. However, as we start moving forward, we do have some threats that we're really concerned about. Of course, there are pressures on electricity rates. Ours at 6.9 cents a kilowatt hour is among the lowest of our neighbors here on the Olympic Peninsula. But one of the first threats that we have is the Washington Energy Independence Act that was passed in 2006, and basically required utilities of 25,000 or more to get their electricity in certain percentages from renewable resources. And there was one renewable resource that was left out of this mix, and it was hydroelectricity. And so all of the other resources, wind, solar, and other things, are much more expensive. So we figure that we're spending about $1.9 million a year on those resources, and that's part of our 60-some million budget. And then there's another threat, and I call this a threat because I don't think that this issue was thought out all that well. The intent is really impressive, but how it works out is a little bit of a problem. So remember that 3% fossil fuel mix I was talking about. So that would cost our customers through this tax between $567,000 to $1.9 million in the first year alone. And the thing to keep in mind on that is it starts out measuring your electrical load and saying, okay, we're going to charge you $25 a ton for the first year, ramping up to $100 a ton by the time it's fully implemented. So you imagine that $1.9 million, which is, if it's during a low water year, a lot of power administration has to go out and buy extra power. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of effort. And basically what it does is it rolls downhill to all of our bills. So that's one of the things that our commission decided it was important enough to come out and say they oppose it. The Mason PUD 3's commission has come on record opposing this, Mason PUD 1 as well. There are probably 4 or 5 other public utility districts that have done the same. And basically it's on the details on this, not necessarily the intent, because the details, the way that it's set up to go through, there are some flaws we believe in the measurements and also the impacts on customers for the facility.
On the ballot in November.
It will be on the ballot in November. So about 74, 75 years ago, there was a fellow that was paid a couple $100 to write songs about the Bonneville Power Administration and the Columbia River Basin. What he does, and he wrote something like 26 songs when he was here in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, my dog has fleas. One of the most, I'm sure everybody that grew up in the Pacific Northwest wound up singing this at one time or another in phrases. Roll on, Columbia, roll on. Roll on, Columbia, roll on. Your power is turning our darkness to dawn. Roll on, Columbia, roll on. There we go. That brings us to the Columbia River Basin. So as you take a look here, the Columbia River Basin is huge. Remember this part of the basin for another conversation that we're going to have later. But we have tons of dams that are on 30 dams that generate electricity for the Pacific Northwest for public power communities. The purchase of our electricity from Bonneville makes up about a half of our budget every year. And it's the Bonneville Power Administration. Prices continue to increase, not as much as other parts of the country, basically because of the low-cost hydroelectricity we have here. We need to maintain and improve the hydropower and the energy transmission. Wind power is affecting the system. And we have the U.S.-Canadian Columbia River Treaty, fish, wildlife, and ecological situation. So let's talk a little bit about this. There are times of the year that we need to manage the river system so that we have control over floods. If you've ever heard of the city named Vanport, it no longer exists because of the Columbia River flooding. So the management of dams and water storage here in the Canadian side of the Columbia River Basin, that helps with flood storage. Another big important part of it is it also helps with managing the flows that comes through the Columbia River system and helps generate electricity consistently and cost effectively. So what happens in this arrangement is Canada gets a certain amount of money each year, it's about $300 million, paid for only by public utility districts, no other electricity users in the Pacific Northwest. So they get money each year to maintain those reservoirs so that we can manage the system as we need. Well, pretty soon the treaty's going to run out of us, and we started figuring how we're going to do negotiations. So we're talking three-letter acronyms a little bit. CRT15 is what the State Department's finally come up with, which is their strategy for negotiating this contract. There's a third element that's being thrown into it, and that's the ecological portion of it. And that's basically managing the river also for fish. And there's going to be costs associated with that, other and above the money that we give to Canada for storing that water. So there are some issues that are really concerning about that and could have financial impacts for us here in the Pacific Northwest. But the biggest issue that we have is fish. When you get your electricity bill from Mason PUD 3, about a quarter of that bill doesn't go to electricity. It goes towards fish management. Enhancement of wildlife habitat, hatcheries, all sorts of things to try to make sure that the salmon are returning to the Pacific Northwest. And the biggest endangered and threatened species recovery program in the world is right here in the Columbia River Basin. The biggest in the world. And the federal government is not paying for it. We're paying for it. It's the only program where the people that get the electricity from it are the ones paying for it. So the federal government, when they take a look at this, and they think that we're getting subsidized electricity and all this stuff, we paid off the dams, we paid off the transmission system, and we're paying almost $1 billion a year for fish. Well, here's our problem. There's a plan called the biological opinion. And the biological opinion is basically how we manage the river for fish. And it's not cheap. It started out in the 2012-13 fiscal year, 682 million. And 14-15, 779. And 2016-17, as I mentioned, 786 million. It continues to go up. That shows up in electricity bills around the region. And it's only public power electricity bills that shows up. Huge standards doesn't pay this stuff. So we have that in place. Federal judge comes in and says, doesn't go far enough. Go back to the drawing board. Even think about taking out dams on the Snake River. Well, the problem with that is that dams on the Snake River generate enough electricity for a city the size of Seattle. Imagine losing that much generation in one fell swoop. The other thing is it provides transportation. You take these things out, suddenly you've got tons of diesel trucks on the roads spewing out diesel fuels. And suddenly you're taking out dams that have clean energy and replacing them with trucks that have dirty energy. You have to think about that too. So a group of us, including Mason PUD3, have been really interested in making sure that that is not something that's going to go through. But here's kind of the interesting thing about the whole mix. Let's talk about how the current program's been working. I'm not going to read this straight through, but it's been working really well. I mean, we're setting record returns in the last couple of years of certain species of salmon. Going back to 1938, which is a really important thing to keep in mind. One thing that's really interesting here is that just Wednesday in the Seattle Times, we're at a record pace for salmon. Through Wednesday, 51,000 sockeye were counted in Bonneville Dam, the highest count since 1938. Previous record was 39,000. Last year's total return of 512,000 salmon was the third largest since 1938. The record was 648,000 sockeye in 2014. So are we making progress? I think so. The sockeye thing is the most important one because in Canada, in Idaho, they see the sockeye salmon as being an indicator of them getting put up lumpy screws by the dams, for them not getting their sockeye. In 1992, remember last year I did this in the Larry Lonesome Dam. In 1992, only one sockeye salmon. And you notice from these numbers, they're going up. We're seeing more salmon coming up the street. The ironic thing is you take out those first four Idaho dams, everything above those four dams has no fish nets. All the federal dams do. So basically you're just opening up a stretch of river to make these fish run into a concrete wall. And this is an indication of the trend. The trend since 1938 was really flat. And then we started spending tons of bucks on fish, about in this period right here. And look what's happened. The trend has been up the whole time. So the programs we've been working on under this biological approach, they've been working. One of the things that we're really proud of at BCGD3 is our reliability. First of all, if you have an outage, we're out there to get it taken care of right away. But the best outage is no outage, right? So one of the things that we did a couple of years ago was apply for and win designation from the American Public Power Association to get something to show that we're reliable public power provider. There are about 514 utilities that have applied in the United States out of the 2,000 public power communities. Washington State has 8 of them that received designation, and 2 of us are at the very highest. Ourselves and Denton. Our application was 1.5 points short of being a perfect application. So those of us that are working on the next one, I'm looking at my boss right now. Like, oh God, pressure's on. But we want to get that perfect score. But basically, it's a representation of the fact that you've done things to make your system reliable, both in how you work with your employees, how they respond to outages, how you keep your system up, and things like that. So we're really proud of this designation. The other thing is the financial side. And I won't go through all of these here, but we've had 11 straight years where we've been certified by the government finance officers of American Canada that we are got very good financial reporting. We have not received a state finding since in the last 36 years, I think. We're only one of 3 public utility districts to send our stuff to Governor Grant's office association to review, and we've gotten awards for these from the American Public Power Association and the Northwest Public Power Association. We really make it an important thing, just as important as keeping the power on, managing the investment you guys make in your utility to make sure your electricity is reliable and supportable to the possible. This is a cool project. Our shared solar program. There are a lot of people that want to do solar in Mason County, but they just can't do it. They got a crummy roof on their house. They have somebody next door that built a bunch of control, put a bunch of tall trees next to them. They don't have a lot of money, but it's 25 to 50 grand that they can put a system in. So we had this idea of, I'll be honest with you, we stole from another utility. And said, well, let's check it out and see if some people in our area would be interested in doing this. And it turns out they're really, really interested in doing this. A lot of utilities really don't like solar because it competes with them and reduces the amount of energy that people buy. But we kind of took another tack. We decided to look at it from a conservation standpoint. We have a really positive conservation department, and we're really targeting people to use less of our product. Well, it's kind of the same thing when you do with solar. If someone puts solar on their house and they don't use a lot of your product, 2 things happen. First of all, you're not buying those much higher prices of wholesale electricity. You're empowering those customers to have their own power, and they're pretty happy about it. But there are people who couldn't get it during the next period. So we offered them an opportunity to buy into this solar array here and get shares in that. So you're treated just like you have a rooftop solar. You get the same incentive. You get the credit at the end of the year for your share of that system that generates electricity. And because of that arrangement, most folks have been seeing their investment in that solar array paid off in 3 to 5 years. Normally it's a 20-year investment paid off over that time. It's 75 kilowatts. It's not huge. It's enough for about 7 Mason County homes. But in conjunction with our previous solar array that's on the other building, that's about maybe 20 homes worth. And so Mason County really has made an effort to show opportunities and options here. This solar program really has done well. There's one thing that I really have concern about though going forward is that for now, Washington State Legislature did not get a renewal of the incentives for programs like this or programs for homes. And so therefore, after 2020, zip, you get nothing. And it happened because of a little flap over the Clean Power Plan. They were using the solar program as kind of a sacrificial lamb to make a point. So we didn't get this thing extended. We're going to take another shot at it next year. So since the law was updated, rooftop solar customers from a certain point forward aren't eligible for the city energy incentive. It's just not going to be. Those that have applied for the incentive through PB3 had a promise that they were going to get it. They will still get it because they put the money in, they put this way. We are so close to that cap. It's a cap, and I won't go into the details, but they say of your retail sales, a certain percentage you can't go over with your solar outlet. We're really close to that right now, which is why we're looking at that program, which stops the incentives until or unless the legislature gets things going and fixes this problem. It's an easy fix, it's straightforward. It just revealed this political progress last month, which is very, very important, unfortunately. And we're going to be working with our fellow PUDs and the legislature trying to get that. And finally, grid modernization is what we're calling our automated metering system, things like that. Last year I talked a little bit about the program that we're going to get started on. Well, we're actually doing it now. The grid modernization project, we're expecting it's going to save our utility and the customers $15 million over the next 10 years. We're installing the advanced meters right now. They'll read the meters and transmit data from customers to PUD. They'll also give us information on the health of the system in ways that we don't have right now. Basically what it's doing also is leveraging our fiber optic network the way that it was designed. Do the automatic meter reading, do the monitoring of our system. Tell us what people go out. We'll know before most people do if they're not at home. We can respond to that, know where it is, and things like that. So it's really important that we have that. But the other thing is that the non-sexy part of it is by managing our system closer on the amount of electricity we send down the lines, you're going to save almost $7 million in energy purchases. That's the unsexy part. The sexy part is you being able to log on to the TV system and read your daily energy use, or being able to go onto the system and see the outages and things like that. But that's really the important one, is controlling the system. We figure right now our fiber optic network, that in conjunction with what we're doing now, saves about $1 million a year that we don't spend on phone lines and service. With this system and what it's going to be doing, we figure that that savings will be about $4.2 million for not having to buy service. This is really exciting. Many of you will be receiving a lovely letter from Harry Peterson, our engineering director, about the replacement of your meter with the brand spanking new one. And about a week before we're ready to do it, we'll remind you again, you don't have to know. But it's an exciting time because they go in for 30 seconds, you got to do it. Very awesome. But we're really pleased to be serving our customers. It sounds a little bit hacky, but every single minute of every day we're part of the lives. And we don't take that lightly. It's important that we do everything we can to make sure that we're not always there and reliable. So thank you very much.
To introduce Jeanette Brannon. She is the acting general manager of Transit, or Mason Transit Authority. Since she joined MTA in 2012, she's served as staff accountant, finance manager, consultant, and of course most recently as acting general manager. She enjoys the transit industry and opportunities and service it provides to the community. Jeanette earned an associate's degree in business administration from Centralia College and a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from Western Governors University. In addition to working at the transit, she has worked as a private school administrator in banking and in the engineering industry. While not at work, her greatest joys are her two adorable grandchildren and her little dog Munchie. She enjoys RVing, riding with her husband on the motorcycle, traveling, gardening, and relaxing with a good book. My kind of gal.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I thought it's interesting that health, power, and transit together, it's like, what more do you need, really, than those things? So currently, we have our mission statement up here for you, and it is to improve and be a part of this community and the quality of life here in Mason County. We're working on our vision statement along with the help from Maryland on our vision statement and a strategic plan. So our main goal really is that we are an engaged partner in our community and that we really jointly provide sorry, this is like my first time of having to represent MTA out here, so just bear with me a little bit.
But it's her birthday.
Oh, yeah. Little operating background. This is our 24th year of service. We are funded, we're a public transportation benefit area, funded with our local sales tax. Currently, we're at 0.6%, which means we get like 6 cents for every $10 of sales tax collected in the county. We're also funded by fares and federal and state grants. And some of our, we do a little bit of contracting services in our maintenance shop. Our service area is Mason County, but we do go to Bremen and Bremerton and to Olympia. We have served 8 million rides in that 24-year period. And currently we're about 91 employees, and that makes us one of the larger employees in Mason County. And 80% of our employees live within Mason County. So the operating background, our fleet, 42 buses, 32 vans. They are maintained by our maintenance and facilities manager, Marshall Greer, who's here with us. We have a transit community center that is downtown, managed by Kathy Geist, who's here with us also. Administrative and maintenance facility up on Johns Prairie. We have 48 bus stops and 19 bus shelters across the county. And all of our buses have bike racks and are accessible for ADA. So we have 10 routes that go throughout the county and into Olympia and Bremerton, and up to Vernon, as I mentioned, to connect with the 3 transits which would be Kitsap, Jefferson, and Air City. We have commuter programs, our van pool, you might see those out and about, and our worker driver program that goes to the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Those are driven by Naval Yard workers, and we have 4 coaches right now that go on to the shipyard. And then we have now express service that we just implemented in 2015. And we have 3 routes now that are limited stops to get to Bremerton and Olympia. General public dial-a-ride, which means anyone in the county can use the dial-a-ride. It's a little bit different than like inner city where they have dial-a-lift, which is paratransit or for elderly. Our community van program, you can rent a van from us if you have a need to transport a lot of people. And then our volunteer program, which I really am excited about. We have volunteer drivers who drive their own car. They take seniors to medical appointments and such outside of the county where they're not able to, since our dial-a-ride does not leave the county, then it limits them. Sometimes we have to go out of county for a medical appointment. That is funded by the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging. That's a big acronym. AAA. We just call it AAA. So it's just really an awesome program that we have. We also have the van grant program, which when we surplus our vans, we put those into a program that nonprofits can apply for to receive a van. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And now we're starting to ramp up some travel training. What that is we have our outreach manager. She will take you and show you how to connect with services, learn about our routes, and especially connecting when you want to go out of county, because you really can leave here and go a long ways on transit. You actually can get, I don't know where a break would be, but if you want to go north, you can get to Seattle, you go to Brennan, connect with Jefferson Transit, go all the way up and hit Clallam Transit into Port Angeles. So our ridership in 2015 provided 578,615 rides. And each person has a different reason why they're riding transit. So we have like 60% we use for economic purposes such as going to work, going to appointments, and 40% for other, quality of life, like again, medical appointments. This also kind of falls in where those with handicaps or seniors can remain independent by using transit. You have to rely necessarily on family at times. We survey our ridership about usually once a year, so at least where we come up with what reasons they're using transit. Big success, I would say, in 2015 was opening the Transit Community Center. It's a lovely building. If you haven't had the pleasure of coming in and seeing it, please do. It has space for community and event for functions. And I just thought it would be kind of nice to have an event in the atrium in the summer and the twilight. So keep that in mind for your next event. Do a little sales pitch right there. So our Transit Community Center is the first that's ever co-located transit services and program services. So So in there we have the Olympic College who does cooking and technology classes. We have a beautiful computer lab. Then also we have the ESD gravity, 113 gravity program in there. Catholic Community Services serving families and youth with mental health issues. Just recently, our newest tenant is the Community Youth Services, also serving youth. And then the City of Shelton runs their Parks and Rec, a lot of programs out of there, and as well as the Shelton School District has their Choice High School uses it for their activities. We also did, in partnership with the City of Shelton, we put in 2 crosswalks. One is in front of the Kansas Community Center, and one is over on Railroad in front of Bonnie's. These are very nice. They have ADA functions on them, so that for safety. I should say that also that those were funded by a TAP grant, which is a Transportation Alternatives Program. And we implemented the largest service change in agency history, expanding service into Olympia and Belfair and Bremerton, and also some more frequent times in our routes within the city. And we basically had to redesign to move everything over to the Transit Community Center from the Civic Center. We're constantly working on our service improvements. We're doing that again this year. Probably not as big as changes we made in 2015. Another success we had is we partnered with 3 on retrofitting our maintenance administrative facility with LED lighting. We received a $10,000 rebate for that. It should lower our power cost and our maintenance cost. Thank you, PB3. And I mentioned our van grant program. We awarded 2 vans. In 2015, one to the 50 Mile Food Bank and then one to Faith in Action. So they were able to get these vans at no cost to them, and all we ask is for a year they have to kind of report on what they do with the van. But it's a great, these vans are maintained well, and we usually, what is the life we have on about 5 years?
5 to 7 years on the van.
Yeah. So they're getting well-maintained vans. It's been really nice to be able to give back into the community with those. And we launched our redesigned, more user-friendly website, and now you can go on there and you can plan your route. So if you want to get into Olympia, you can just say, I want to go here, and it will help you plan your route, or even to the, up to Bremerton, or just around. And this, of course, we're very proud of, that we were recognized as the Rural Community Transportation System of the Year by the Community Transportation Association of America. In last May, several of us went to Florida and received the award, so it was very exciting for us. So, moving forward into 2016, this is our operating expenses. You can see that, of course, the biggest expense is our employees and their benefits. And our revenue. And most of our revenue comes from sales tax, and then grant funding would be the second source of our revenue. Since we are fare-free in county, our revenues are only for out-of-county, our van pool program, and our worker driver program. So basically, we say you're paying for your transportation. And coming up in 2016 through, well, this project will take us through June of 2019, and it's our park and ride improvement project. We are going to be building a new park and ride up in the Belfair area. Currently, we haven't had parking up there, and so we have 3 of our bus, one of our buses for the worker driver starts up there, and then 3 also pick up riders along the way. And what is happening is they're using the businesses as a park and ride. So it's not been a very good partnership with our neighbors up in Belgrade. So what we are doing right now is we'll be building a new park and ride facility up there. It will probably happen in later part of 2018. We were funded through the transportation package that you probably have heard about, and it'll take us, I think our funding lasts through June 2019, so that's when it'll be completed. We'll probably start construction hopefully in 2018. We also are going to do improvements on our other parking rides in Shelton, Rock, the parallel through Pickering, and we're going to be putting in additional lighting and security cameras, shelters, and electric car charging. We're very excited to be able to do the project up in Delaware, especially. In the meantime, we have, we'll be leasing a temporary parking lot up there so we can get our worker drivers moved over to that parking lot starting actually July 1st and out of the business parking lots. And we're also working on some bus shelter replacement. As you can tell, they kind of get beat up and wear and tear on them over the years, so we're going to be replacing up to 15 new shelters. Probably the biggest improvement we'll be doing on our shelters is the one up in Belfair at the Bill Hunter Park and our stop there. We'll be putting in a larger shelter along with some more concrete and release for the passengers. And then our parking plaza project that's behind our transit community center. We're excited about this one also. There's another partnership we have with the City of Shelton and the Mason Conservation District. We're also, I'll put in another plug here. We're also looking for some partners that want to take on the Radish building as a public restroom for downtown. Because actually right now our plan was to tear it down. We've been approached that maybe it would be a good facility for a restroom, and so we're right now trying to work through that and work through finding some partners on take that building over. It is another grant funding project. I'd say that all of our capital projects definitely are grant funded. Depending on the project and what it is, we have to match 20% usually, but sometimes less. And the transportation package, we were lucky enough not to have to match that grant for our parking right development, which is, I think our funding is around 10 million, so not to have to match that is awesome. So our biggest thing that we're hoping for to add to our fleet is an electric bus. We had it here about a month and a half ago. We were able to join with some other transits and put in a grant where we need to hear back on whether we're successful with that. So it will save us about $26,000 in fuel just on one bus and reduce the maintenance costs as well. To board this bus, we're really excited about it. If we're successful, we will be putting it into use in the downtown area. We're going to deck it out with some cool graphics and with some Mason County history on it. And we're going to be purchasing the bus from BYD, which is Build Your Dream, so I kind of like that. And we are now on Facebook, so we're moving up. I've probably been the one that's slowed that process down because it's like, no, you don't want people on Facebook while they're working, right? But you can find us on Facebook now and on Twitter. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Did anybody have any questions for Danette?
I just have one question about your grant.
Yes.
Are they state grants, federal, or
Combination.
I thought she was the parking lot removing.
Yes.
In Belfair, moving folks to like where is it?
Oh, it is behind Safeway. Right behind Safeway. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you.